Hey everyone, welcome back to 996 The Howl, and unfortunately it's a back-to-back. I got another game Sunday night against the Kings. Usually I do a video after the back-to-back, but such a special game. A great game for Saturday night in the desert with the crowd into it. A lot of Red Wings fans in attendance, but it's great. That battle in the stands happens while the battle on the ice is happening as well. A special game for Clayton Keller. And I really didn't know until the post game interview with Keller that he lost his grandfather to cancer. And it made sense. This whole game, Clayton Keller was on a mission. It seemed weird to me. Not weird, but like he was very noticeable. He was being double shifted at times, especially in the third period. Andre Tourigny, the new head coach for the Coyotes, could not get Keller and Chikrin on the ice enough. They both of them just took over this game for the Coyotes and were leading the Coyotes and showing their team that we could win this game. We just gotta stick to it, keep playing our game, keep hanging in there. Eventually, something will happen, and eventually, something did with Dzingel scoring off a shot from Cam Dineen, his first NHL point, 1-1 going into overtime. And then obviously Clayton Keller scores that special goal. Just I never really give Keller such praise. I know he's been on the team for a really long time. I'm sure in the first season in his rookie campaign, I was all like, I loved Keller, and then since then it's been a downward trend with Keller. But it seems like this season he's more consistent. He's not ghosting as much. He looks like a skilled player this season compared to last season and maybe the season before that. You you notice him a lot. He's banging his stick on the ice. He's creating plays. He's using his speed. He's showing skill as opposed to under Take, where it seemed like he was being stifled in some ways, maybe concentrating too much on the back check and his defensive side of the game, and then he was losing touch with his offensive upside. But this season, he looks like a first line NHL player. He looks like a top three winger, and hopefully that continues. He needs to keep putting in the work. I know he put in a lot of work in the off season, putting on 13 pounds for such a small statured player. But great to see Clayton Keller. It was a great Coyotes game. Maybe in the second period, the game was getting away from them. I thought Detroit really put it on in the second. They outshot the Coyotes 15-5. They had two power plays, but luckily the Coyotes were able to kill them off. Their penalty kill now for the Coyotes is getting better. It's not, whatever it was in the first 11 games where they couldn't kill a penalty to save their lives. They're still better than the Vancouver Canucks in terms of penalty kill percentage. But even on the PK, I see Hayden out there, and I got to make double checks. I saw it against the St. Louis, but maybe I was too tired. Then I saw it again against Columbus, and now I officially made sure that I was Barrett Hayden on the PK. And I was asking in Discord, why is Hayden on the penalty kill? He's a skilled guy, and apparently he played a lot of penalty killing in junior, and so that translates to me the type of coaching change that is happening with the Coyotes. Rick Tocchet would have never ever put Barrett Hayden on the PK, but you have a players coach, supposedly like people say, in Andre Tourigny, and maybe he goes to Hayden and he says, "Hey, do you kill penalties? Do you want some more ice time? All these players want is more ice time." Or maybe Hayden went to Tourigny himself and said, "Hey, I played PK with my junior team all the time on the first unit. I could kill penalties if you need it." So, sometimes, Beagle took a penalty against Detroit and then Hayden started the penalty kill. It's not just like the last 15 seconds. Usually coaches will put their skill players out in the last 15 seconds to try and, gain the advantage as soon as they get to even strength and catch the opposition tired or off guard. But Hayden was on the PK in the earlier minutes of the penalty kill. I did a good job. They didn't succeed any goals, and Wedgwood was standing tall in the second period while the Coyotes were kind of sleeping. But they came into the third period with a jump in their step, with energy. They didn't quit on the third period, and usually the Coyotes last season, if the game's not going their way, they usually would come out flat in the third, and the fans would be like, "What's going on here? Like, you're down just one goal, just try." And they kept trying, kept trying. The last 10 minutes of the third was all Coyotes. They're putting on so much pressure, and eventually a goal went in. They go into overtime and seal it quickly. So it was just a great game to watch as a Coyotes fan. There's something to start here. Something's building here. Maybe a change of culture around how the players are playing for themselves and for their coach. In Tourigny's post game interview, he said, even though we didn't win the first 11 games, look at the opposition we're up against. They had a road trip against Florida, Tampa, Washington, Carolina, and Philly. Maybe not Philly, but like all those teams are like top elite teams. Of course they're going to lose to them, but they weren't all blowouts. They hung in there against Washington and Carolina and even the Philly game. Sure, the Tampa game was 4-0, but they scored all their 3 goals in the first. We also had Prosvetov in net. So we're getting some serviceable goaltending from Wedgwood. It's good. He needs to be consistent, and he has been the past, whatever it's been, 4 or 5 games. Vamelka will get the start against the Kings. We need to get him going again. He had a great stretch, but he wasn't getting goal support in the aforementioned Eastern road trip. So hopefully now with Vamelka and net, the Coyotes could score. He could get his confidence back because his confidence is shot. We need Veggi's confidence up there. And all this team really needs is just the confidence that they can go out and make high end, dangerous offensive plays and have a goalie reliable enough to have their backs. And they're limiting odd man rushes against, and they're looking good. They're looking okay to good. It's not bad or terrible. There's still some personnel on the ice I don't want there, like Louis Erickson, who misses a point blank chance, just no one in front of him, right in front of the goalie, somehow shoots it wide, and then the puck goes the other way, and Larkin scores. Just things like that. I know there's injuries. Larson, Fisher are injured. Looking at the whiteboard here, yeah, just Larson and Fisher. So hopefully those two players come off the IR and Andrew Ladd, and then we can get. O'Brien's been good, but maybe little bit more firepower on that third line. Move O'Brien down to the fourth line and scratch Erickson because not really sure what he brings to the roster. He might be the worst player I've ever seen on the Coyotes because I don't really know who is worse than him. At least Zach Ronaldo would fight, and O'Brien fights. O'Brien has scored. He has a nice shot. Just Eric, I don't know what he does. It's mostly just Beagle and Roussel on that line who keep the puck in the opposition's end and play hard, play along the boards, and it's a good fourth line. But Erickson doesn't really do much of that. He's not the catalyst for that. It's usually just Beagle and Roussel. Erickson doesn't get in people's faces, but not to ended on a negative note. Just hoping for Fisher to come back and some other players just to feel the confidence surrounding the team right now. They're streaking, 3 game point streak. They'll probably lose tonight against the Kings. Kings are a good team. They lost yesterday against Carolina, so they're looking for a bounce back. Coyotes on the road. Back-to-back wins for this Coyotes teams. Maybe a bit too far-fetched, but just glad to see a great game. Glad the crowd got to saw a great game. Hopefully, like I said before, it spreads the word. Come watch the Coyotes. It's a great game. It's a battle on the ice and a battle in the stands. So that's it for me. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, spread the word. And as always, thank you for your support.